It's a rainy day in Steamboat, and overall, it's been a really rainy season. That's good, because we need the moisture. It was pretty dry this winter, but the spring's been good. We'll see what the summer brings. Today, I'm going to share a market update with you and an interesting neighborhood trend that I noticed that started to change last fall. I'm going to head inside now, though, because it is raining and it's kind of wet, so we'll do the rest from my desk. Okay, back inside. Let's go. So nationally, Case-Shiller posted data for February of 2026, and the national year-over-year change shows an increase of 0.67%. Let's take a look at Routt County sales data now. Median sales price for March was just over $1 million, a 22% decrease over February's median sales price of just over $1.3 million. Last year at this time, it was just under $1.4 million for a 26% decrease. There were 31 sold listings in March and 37 in February, a 16% decrease. Last March had 47 sold listings, which is a 34% decrease year over year. March had 42 properties go pending, while February had 32, which is an increase of 31%. It's a great indicator that buyer demand has increased. Last March, there were 46 pending properties, a 9% decrease year over year. Routt County had 325 active listings in March and 301 active listings in February, which is an 8% increase month over month. Last year, there were 240 active listings in March, which is a 35% increase of inventory year over year. March had 80 new listings, and February had 60, a 33% increase. Last March had 98, a 12% decrease. So yeah, March looked pretty bleak compared to February, but I want to show you a couple statistics now that puts a couple things in perspective. So we're going to switch over to rolling 12-month averages in the graphs at this point, which shows a better idea of how the trends are going, not the month-to-month data.
Looking at days on market, you can see that March had a median of 43. The last time we saw days on market that high was at the start of the pandemic, or August of 2020. Days on market at that time was 44.
Looking at months of inventory, we can see that March had 6.8. That's a little higher than pre-pandemic levels and puts us within a buyer's market at this point. If you've been waiting on the sidelines as a buyer, now might be the time to strike. As you can see, we don't find ourselves in buyer's markets very often. If you're a seller right now, just know that buyers have options. You'll want to be flexible and realistic if you want to be competitive in this market. So now I want to talk to you about some neighborhood information and discuss median sales price about the different neighborhoods for Steamboat Springs. Now there's three main neighborhoods in Steamboat Springs. There's downtown, there's Fish Creek, and there's the mountain. Some could argue that there's also Strawberry Park, which technically is true. However, Strawberry Park has very high-end properties that are attached to very desirable land. And so I'm not really including that here because there aren't a lot of sales usually, and the sales are quite high, so it doesn't really fit for this discussion. So back to what I was saying, we got three main neighborhoods. Downtown has always historically been the most desirable. People want to live there, so therefore the median sales price is usually the highest. Fish Creek is usually second. It's a little bit of, people will live there if they can't afford to live downtown. And then the mountain comes in third because it's got a lot of condos mixed in as well. And so though there are the most transactions at the mountain, usually that price per foot or the median sales price is a little bit lower at the mountain. Now, an interesting thing happened in August of 25. The median sales price, as you look, has been about 1.6 since then as we look at downtown. There was a little blip in December where it jumped up to almost 1.7, and then it went back to 1.6 from that point forward. Now, around that same time, if we look at Fish Creek, look what happened. In October, we're down at 1.48, and then it starts to creep up. November, 1.6, even with downtown. And then it goes up to 174. and it has continued to be up around 1.7, almost 1.8 ever since then. So what that's telling me is that Fish Creek has now secretly become a little more desirable than downtown. You get slightly bigger residences, bigger views out there, and so people are finding some value. And so that part of the area, or part of downtown, is really starting to see some growth. So there you have it. There's my little tip for the month. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're staying dry. We got Riverfest next weekend. Hope you can make it out for that to support the river. It's a good cause and really fun. We'll see you next month, and thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, please. See you next month.